The most valuable financial skill that anybody can have is not needing to impress other people. Don't you see like the disconnect here? Nobody cares about the driver.
So how, in a practical sense, can one go about keeping their expectations below their circumstances, I guess?
Here's one that really made an impact on me. And it's great that we're in LA because that's where this story took place. I was a valet here in LA all throughout college at a 5-star hotel here in town. So I was young. I was, age 19 to 24, something like that. And all day it was people driving in Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces. And one day it hit me. I remember the moment because it was like out of the blue, it hit me. Whenever someone would drive in a Rolls Royce or something, never once would I look at the driver and say, that guy's cool. Like, wow, look at him. He's so cool. What I did is I imagined myself as the driver. And then I thought, if I was a driver, people would think I'm cool. And it was like, wait, don't you see like the disconnect here? Nobody cares about the driver, but they want to be the driver because they think people will then care about them. And once you realize that, like the takeaway is nobody is thinking about you as much as you are. Nobody cares about your stuff as much as you do. Nobody cares about your car or your house or your clothes or your jewelry as much as you do. Because to the extent that they're even looking at them, they're looking at your car, looking at your house, really what they're doing is imagining themselves with that nice car. They're not giving you the credit. They're imagining themselves having it. So once I realized like, that was the game that was being played in society, once you recognize that's the game, your willingness, your desire to show off plunges. And of course, I like nice stuff. I like nice cars. I want some nice clothes. I live in a decent house. But once you realize that, it plunges. And I think the most valuable financial skill that anybody can have is not needing to impress other people. If you don't need to impress other people, that is an asset on your balance sheet that is worth $1 billion. Because so much of society as a whole and an individual is just geared towards how can I get other people's attention? How can I show off to other people? How can they like me more?
I both agree and understand, but agreeing and understanding is different from being able to do.
I think at the society level, it will never be. It'll always be like that. Same as ever. It's never going to move away from that. If you can manage it around the edges at the individual level, it's massive for your life. One thing that's important here is that if you are a young person and you're kind of looking for a spouse, a mate, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, a husband, whatever it would be, then your ability to look really nice and to signal and to kind of put up your peacock feathers is important. And I get it. And I did it back in the day. Once you are more settled down in your career, in your relationships, if at that point you are still hanging on to the desire to impress other people, that's when it's broken. That's when it's just pure net loss in your life. Because you're trying to show off for people who you don't even need or want to love you. There's a great quote from Warren Buffett where he says, the definition of success is when the people who you want to love you do love you. And so for me, it's like 5 people. It's like my parents, my wife, and my kids. And like, that's it. That's it. Those are the people who I want to love me. And if they love me, I probably have 90% of the happiness that I'm capable of. And if they don't love me, then I'm never going to have more than like 10% of the happiness that I'm capable of.